Abby seems to do a lot of lone pictures. Her work is usually on an open space with just a single person on the canvas. I don't really know much about Abby, but I do know that she was on websites for internet dating. Well, I just hope she gets somebody like him, but probably not. But she seems to do lonely figures. They're all acrylic on canvas. The personalities, they tend not to make a title for their work, so I end up giving titles, and that one I've called In a World of His Own. Anon's paintings, she usually paints at night, and it's late, so we haven't got a name for Anon because nobody's been around to speak to her, so I've just called her Anon, but her paintings are all the same style, so I know it's the same personality, and she likes to pour paint onto the canvas and uses limited palette knife. They're very fresh paint and thick. Bonnie was the main personality before me, and she started off painting a lot of robotic people, and she's done one which I haven't got any pictures of, but it's a series of 3, and it's a robotic hand, 2 robotics hands reaching out to one another, and in the second one it's a robotic hand and a human hand, and then the third one is 2 human hands. And she said that was her experience of her therapy, that she felt at first there was her with no feelings, she didn't have names for the feelings, her therapist was just saying, how do you feel, and just sitting there going, yes, And then eventually, you know, the therapist seemed to become more human, and so the next hand was the therapist's hand and her own hand, and then she started to feel, and so the last painting was 2 human hands. That painting was done for a competition at the Lowry Museum and on football, and it was shortlisted. Bonnie didn't win with it, but it got shortlisted, which was an achievement. I think I can only say what I feel the paintings are, and it's not obviously coming from Bonnie, but I see this as either death or it's the changing from one personality to another one as one goes into the background and another one comes forward. Dawn likes to paint with a sponge, and she is the one that actually gave birth to Amy, and sadly Amy was removed at birth by social services, and Dawn still feels that social services has Amy, and she's still looking for her baby, even though she knows Amy, and you know she doesn't see her as being her daughter. Dawn puts poems as well into her art, and that's the journey. Judy's painting is, she's 15 and she has no understanding of DID. We were actually on the Oprah show last summer, which actually went out over here in October, and the producers asked us to do some self-portraits, and 5 of the personalities, including myself, done portraits, and that's Judy's, and she sees herself as being 15 stone, and the notice around her neck says, polite notice, please do not feed too fat. So that's her self-portrait. This is a series of 3, I've only got 2 here, and that's Longing Rose. And it's one of the few paintings Judy has done with a face. Most of her paintings have no faces. That's Crying Rose, and the petals are on the floor. Judy always moans about me and doesn't understand why she has to have an exhibition, always in a group exhibition, and she doesn't see herself as having DID. So she moans a lot about me, and always got to go under the name of Kim Noble for any exhibition, and she wants her own solo exhibition. And I'm too mean to give her one. Also, the personalities don't actually sign their paintings because they're just interested in painting. They're not bothered about, other than Judy, about exhibitions or signing or anything. So I've just done this symbol that stands for Kim, the body's name, which I felt was fair because I didn't want to put my name on their paintings. Anyway, Judy would have probably moaned. I thought this was a picture, a self-portrait of Judy, but because she's bulimic, and she says that's her friend. It's not her. She met somebody in hospital that had anorexia. Oh, this painting, yeah, I've named Ice Cream, because obviously the ice cream, and he looks like he's grooming the little girl, and he's got no face. So. This one, it looks bright and cheerful, but if you look up at the top, there's some guns coming through the fence. Now, a lot of people think that it then becomes like a nasty painting and the people are going to shoot the children, which, you know, I don't know what Judy was thinking of when she done it, but for me, it also could be protection, that they're actually security, you know, watching over the children rather than out to shoot them. I don't know much about Karen, but she does abstract paintings, and she likes to use a toothbrush, usually Amy's. Yeah. And I think she's a young teenager. There's a symbol of like a name at the bottom. I just do that because initially, you know, none of the paintings had signatures, and then I was asked, could I sign them? But obviously I didn't want to sign Patricia on, you know, Bonnie's or Judy's paintings, so I thought I'd best come up with something. Ken was the last of the personalities to paint, and he's really interested in trains. That was his self-portrait for the Oprah show, but he's really interested in trains, so he was trying to paint a train and was getting very frustrated, and so he started to slap them on the wall, and then as he pulled them off, he liked the texture, so now all his paintings are slapped on the wall. And if you ask him, he says he's painting a train, but most of his paintings are faces, so unless it's Thomas the Tank Engine, I'm not really sure where the train comes into it. He does paintings of either the Kabbalah Tree of Life or some pictures of abuse. And in fact, I know nothing about the Kabbalah or the Tree of Life, so I find it quite baffling that she knows quite a bit, that she can put it in her paintings. She also does mirror writing. There's two personalities that do mirror writing. It took us a while to accept that we were artists, and you know, it's very difficult even now to be classed as an artist, and I couldn't get used to people asking me about my studio, because for me it just felt as though it was, you know, the art room, and it's just somewhere where we went to get paint. It took a long time to take on the identity of an artist. That's called Nursery Rhymes Are Not What They Seem, and it's in mirror writing. Mimi's a young personality, and she has only painted 3 paintings over 3 years. For the next 2 years, she's continued to paint just 2 paintings, one of the House of Commons and the other of Battersea Power Station, but she's not finished either of those 2 yet. So I tend to find that, you know, some of the personalities are quite quick at painting, and others, like Mimi, will take a long time. Also, I'm not 100% sure that her name's Mimi. It's just that Amy, my Amy, asked her what her name was when she was painting, and she just said me, and I'm not sure if she's telling Amy that it was her, me, or if it was Mimi, but we just call her Mimi, so. Miss is a young personality, and that's a self-portrait, and again for the Oprah, and she will only paint in red, black and white. She won't paint in any other colour. She's very energetic when she paints, and it goes everywhere, all up the walls and windows. And when Amy was younger, she used to like going in there to get covered in paint. This, over a week or 2, I noticed that there was like 2 personalities playing hangman. Somebody would be there, and I'd noticed that when I took charge of the body and looked at the painting, there was actually more letters being put on it, and I just felt that there was this game of hangman going on between 2 personalities. Even though we're not co-conscious, which means I can't hear any of the other personalities, I'm not aware of what they're doing when they take control of the body, I could see that there had been a game going on, so this is my painting. I find these are so boring. I do find mine more boring, because I just feel that you can't, you know, there's nothing to explain about them. They're just boring, which might be a reflection of me.
I don't think so. But Patricia says these are boring, but actually these paintings sell for very large amounts of money. Very popular.
That one has got 2 little people in it, which may make it more exciting, but it just so happens that one day when I was painting, there was these 2 little marks come up, and so now I tend to just try and do some little figure in the painting. Pratt's, her name's Ria Pratt, but she classes herself, she says her name's Pratt, and didn't feel it was very nice that, you know, she just classed herself as Pratt, so I did give her the name of Ria for when showing her work. It just felt a lot better. That is her self-portrait, and they can be quite graphic at times. A lot of her paintings have this shadow of the person next to either the child or the abuser, and I see this as being, you know, that he actually can be quite a nice person, but when he then becomes nasty to abuse, he comes out of that body and goes into another body and starts to abuse. She likes to do bright colours because she says that child abuse should be heard and listened to and seen, and she feels that by having bright colours, people can't miss it. It just can't. If it's on a wall or gallery wall, even at the corner of your eye, you still see this bright blob. When I first got hold of one of her paintings, the very first one she done on canvas, which was really large, I had to put a cloth over my hands because I felt the whole painting was dirty. I felt that my hands were going to get dirty from it. And it was nothing about what was on the picture, it's just something about lifting it out of the art room and taking it, you know, into another room was going to make me all dirty. And they've always got this, well, I find it quite horrible grin on their faces, the abusers. Susie's paintings, that's a self-portrait. Susie was painting mother and baby, probably 9, 10, quite a few of this mother and baby, and I see it as the mother is very chaotic with all scribbles all over it, and she has this pure child. She'd done quite a few of these, and then one day I went into the art room and there was a picture of underneath a gold curtain, and when I took back the curtain there was the mother but there was no baby. And from that day on, she hasn't drawn another picture of a mother and baby. She seems to have looked outside herself. And now she paints celebrities, Marilyn Monroe, and she's done Simon Cowell, Sharon Osbourne. She must like the X Factor. And some footballers she's done. So I just felt that she had actually moved on from the mother and baby pictures.